Okay, I'm going to acknowledge the at least 2 Miami fans in the chat. We got Ronan here. We got Casey here. Appreciate you guys being here and showing up for our Miami shows, of course, but you get on over here for the Florida State shows as well. I see it on the Miami shows as well. The FSU fans come over more than any other fan base, and it happens here, of course, and has since day one. The Miami guys crashing the party. So that's fine. So I'm going to serve this up for Logan since Casey's asking for it. And I'm going to give my small take first. Okay. Because I think Casey might be accusing Logan of something he's not necessarily ever stated here in the last couple of years. But here's my take on the two teams right now. I think Miami's a better team than Florida State. Do I think it's significant? Not really. They had a better season last year, but the two teams obviously got on the field at the same time, and Florida State won the game. So who's got bragging rights? Right this second, FSU has the bragging rights. They won the game head-to-head. 5-7, 7-5. Are either one of those records Florida State or Miami standard? Not even close. But Miami was a little bit better last year, evidenced by that record. Do they look to be much better this year or decidedly better? They should be. So should Florida State. So there's my take at least on it. But Casey, let me read the comment.
I'm glad Jason is in here.
Please ask them why they feel they're better than Miami at this point. We have momentum. Also, I don't know what momentum necessarily means. You hired a really good coaching staff. So if that's momentum, yes. It's up to anybody's evaluation whether it's a better coaching staff and AD and money being put behind the program and recruiting.
So we're going where this is the Miami thing of off-season Super Bowl. This is off-season Super Bowl. It's the usual kind of thing coming down from Miami. But, I mean, yeah, great. First off, I was already reading this earlier in the comments, and I was like, well, this is easy for me to go at because, all right, you got a better coaching staff. Well, let's see it this season. You know, I want to see that whenever it actually happens. And I want to see the AD, you know, you could go back and look at Florida State and what we just talked about. We talked about earlier. I mentioned Michael Alford and the AD and what he's doing here at Florida State. I'm not even going to just have a whole argument about AD and, oh my God, Florida State is better than Miami, blah, blah. The money, you know, I think there's going to be a lot of valuations on NIL, what's going to be happening there in Miami and what they're doing. But that's the same case for everywhere. I mean, you know, Florida State is trying to get heavily into the collective space, and they were behind. They were one of the slowest teams or one of the slowest programs, and they're not affiliated with Florida State. We know this, but they're one of the slowest to get going and get the rumblings going, get the rotation happening with building a staff, building a collective to get going in the NIL space. So if we're talking money there and how that's going to work, yada, yada, yada. I mean, there's going to be competition for Florida State with Miami, Florida, most certainly, because the Gator Collective has been around a little bit more. You got to like the signs that Florida State's making, at least with Rising Spear. You know, hopefully we'll be able to have James on to talk about what his is, which I think his is a little bit more hands-on with the players to help them on the business side of things, a little bit more of some more instructive type of leadership on helping them growing their brand and building them. But I'll let James talk more about that once we have him on soon. But, you know, I don't want to, you know, this is all off-season stuff. We're just going to continuously do this nonstop, and it's always the case with Miami fans. The Florida fans are a little bit more hush-hush because they know they've got Willie Napier down there. I mean, Billy Napier, my bad, not Willie Napier, my bad. I don't know why Willie's name came up to me for some reason, but Napier down there in Gainesville. But, you know, this is the fun about Miami fans, and they like to have a good time in the comments. But at least let me go to the better coaching staff stuff. Let's talk about that once we're 6 games in, at least 6 games, if not a season next year, because, you know, Florida State's, you know, we've said the same thing, man, this coaching staff, this is great. Kendall Briles is just awesome. We're going to change it all. This is great. And then you look at it and it's not so pretty at the outcome of the season. So let's give it some time. Let's see what's happening. Do I think that Florida State is like better team than Miami right now? Nope. You know, I want to see on the field, and let's get to whenever Florida State faces them this next season and actually get some true results before we get to that. But I think these teams are right there in line with one another. And I think there's potential for both sides of them. And I think they see a lot of momentum in the transfer portal. And if we're finding momentum from that defensive lineman, I want to say Darnell Jackson, hold up. It's a line commit. The transfer from Maryland, Darnell Jackson. Yeah, if we're going to talk about them finding some momentum there, congratulations. He wasn't going to start nor be in the 2 deep for Florida State this next season. I'm not even being like silly with it. I'm not trying to be rude or anything, but this kid was not going to be in the 2 deep at Florida State. He definitely wasn't going to start over Robert Cooper or Fabian Lovett, 2 potential highly touted NFL products going in this next season, nor was he going to start over Malcolm Ray or Jarrett Jackson. So where the hell was he going to go? Congratulations. He's down to the 305 for you guys. He's definitely a talented player. I think that's a great get for Miami, but he wasn't going to play at Florida State this next season. If he's looking to transfer and find immediate play or higher up in the depth charts, that's where Miami, you can do that because there's more open spots. And like I said, he's a talented player, but he just wasn't going to have a lot of playing time in Tallahassee. So there's that. I know he visited Florida State, so the Miami fans are like, "Oh, y'all lost on him." Nah, brought him in, evaluated, told him the real deal, the real spiel. That's kind of what Norvell does, and Higgins will tell him straight up. And you're gonna have to compete at least. And he probably saw what he was probably gonna have to be playing against. And what we saw this last spring camp with Cooper and Fabian Lovett, along with Malcolm Ray, Jarrett Jackson, you got Joshua Farmer too. You're not going to pass up on 2, let alone 3 or 4 of those guys. So there's the case there on all that momentum talk.
Here's my quick take. I got another quick take on this one. Okay. Miami fans, I understand why you're excited. You have a reason to be optimistic. You have reason to be hopeful. You have reason to be excited and to wear it and shout it and go nuts about it. You hired a coach who's won Pac-12 championships, who won a Rose Bowl, a coaching staff that includes Kevin Steele, Josh Gaddis, Charlie Strong. It looks good on paper. Okay. And you got a good recruiting base, and things should get better. You got a really good quarterback. You've got a core of a good team. Not a great team, good team, top 15 to 25 team. You should. Okay. But on the other hand, understand, Miami fan, that you haven't done anything in 20 years. Understand that if you're a Florida State fan or a Florida fan, you can jump on Miami easily because those programs have been better than you more recently. Yes, Florida State's sucked for the last 3 years and not been very good for 4 or 5 years. Yes, but they've more recently finished in the top 10, won double-digit games, won major bowl games, and, of course, a national championship in 2013 and back to a playoff in 2014. That's much more recent than 2001, 2002. Florida, the same thing. For as bad as Florida's been, shoot, they just went to an SEC championship game 2 years ago. They've won SEC championships, been to SEC title games multiple times in the last decade. They won national titles in 06 and 08, much more recent than Miami. So if you're looking at projection, optimism, I get it. Good coach. He's accomplished some things. He should do a good job there. But you hired a much more accomplished coach 4 or 5 years ago in Mark Richt. That didn't turn out for maybe other reasons, not related to football, unfortunately. But he was a much more accomplished coach than Mario Cristobal. But yes, I understand the optimism, but it has yet to be proven over and over and over and over and over and over and over. So we're going on 20 years of irrelevance.
Yeah.
So I get the optimism if I'm a Miami fan, but also if you want to push back, it's easy to do because it's not been proven.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think we'll see. Like I said, we're going to wait. We can't go off of, KC. I do respect the profile picture there. I do respect that. But everything else, though, we'll have to wait and evaluate once the season is over. But I want to mention real quick, Keir Thomas being slept on in the NFL draft. Make sure you grab him. If my Steelers want him, I'll take him. And then number 2, Deshaun Corbin, what system do I think he fits well in? Running back. I think he'll be the number 2 guy to go for Florida State. but I think he fits well in the Kansas City Chiefs type offense where, you've got multiple guys in the running back room. I don't think he's a solidified one guy, running back in the NFL. But keep an eye on Jordan Wilson and Emmett Rice being late guys, if not being picked up really, really quickly on a practice squad. And that's about it, in my opinion. I think it's going to go real quick. Jermaine Johnson, Corbin, and Corbin and Kira should be in that same realm, in my opinion. If Kira goes far back, that's wild, because he didn't get his NFL Combine invite, which was arrestable. Someone should be arrested for that. And I think Jordan Wilson, tight end, and Emmett Rice are kind of like your 5 guys to keep an eye on. No, I'm not expecting Mackenzie Milton to be drafted. I don't think anybody is, but great guy.
Nice. That would have been an amazing story. And I hope he does very well in life as a coach or whatever business he wants to pursue. He's a great guy. Seems like a class individual. And it's just too bad what happened to him. He was remarkable for 2 years at UCF, but that's what happened. And he's just not the player he was.